and welcome to my dog's come in. Hello Susu, what do you want? You've come to distract me. Right, let's start again. Hi, and welcome to my 1 year update. Where do I begin? I'm only joking, it's really not that bad. But I am a bit behind with the year update, so we may as well just do a 2-year update at this rate. So I've had Susu for just over a year now. So we had her in November 2020 and we are now in February 2022. I do apologise for the delay in uploading this video. Every time I tried to, something or life just got in the way. And then last week I was like, right, I'm going to finally sit down and actually film a video. And then, unfortunately, ran into some problems, which is why, yeah, we ended up having to take Susu for emergency vet care. It was quite scary, actually. I thought the worst. Basically, last Sunday we took her out volunteering with us. We volunteer for a conservation charity, and because we're in the woods a lot, I took her with me. Didn't think anything of it. Let her run around, and she was absolutely fine. But the next day, she started like licking and biting her foot quite a lot. And again, didn't think anything of it. When I came home from work that day, she was having quite violent twitches and spasms in her leg. Rob said it had gradually got worse throughout the day. So of course I was getting a bit worried because it was really strange. It was like she couldn't control her leg, and even when she was lying down, like her leg would start hovering and she would like try and bite and lick her foot, and she was getting really agitated about it. And that night she didn't sleep at all, and she kept kicking, she was falling everywhere, and she was obviously in a lot of pain. I didn't get any sleep because we don't like to leave her locked out of the bedroom. We like to have her with us, and I wanted to keep an eye on her anyway. But you could hear her stumbling around in the night, so I thought that something was definitely wrong. So I went to work, and then I came back. She just went completely lame in both legs, and it was really scary because at that point, that's when we realised we're going to have to get her emergency treatment. And because it was the right foot at first that was causing her problems, but the twitching had stopped, but then for some reason the left leg had just also gone completely lame. And it was about 8 o'clock in the evening, and we ended up having to pick her up to put her in the car. Like, it took 2 of us to actually lift her in. She was yelping, and at this point I was like, I was having a breakdown. So I was like, I can't cope with seeing her in pain. Like, I just really didn't know what to do, and Rob was struggling to hold it together. So we drove to the vet. It took 2 vets to lift her up and take her inside. They examined her, but they did advise that they were concerned that maybe she'd sprained her foot. She'd maybe torn a ligament. They weren't concerned about the right foot, even though that was the problem she was having with it first. It was the left foot that she was limping on. So they said that they wouldn't go in to do any x-rays or anything because they were an emergency vet. So they did advise that we go and see the vet and we can go from there. Unfortunately for us, well, I say unfortunately, it got sorted in the end. We were still registered in our old area. We couldn't register in our area because no one was taking on any new pets. Thankfully, there was a vet not too far from us who agreed to take her on. To me, it was an emergency, and I think they thought it was as well. I had the time off work, we took her to the vet, and they were concerned that there was 2 different injuries going on. They didn't want to do any x-rays because not only was she really, really anxious, they couldn't feel any breakages or anything, but they were really concerned that it was Alabama rot, which is what I thought it might have been. And it's extremely rare. There have been a few cases in Wales. They could have been, but they weren't sure. Anyway, they prescribed her, she had injections as well, so she had like antibiotics and anti-inflammatories. We took her home. She finally got back up on her feet because she was off her food as well for a bit. And we were having to take her food and her water to her because she wasn't eating herself. Friday, Rob ended up finding a lesion on her back right foot. Like, one of the signs of Alabama rot is the lesions on the foot. So we did get in touch with the vet again, and they did advise that she would need some steroid cream. So she's doing fine, like she's back up on her feet, she's walking again. I was really upset the other day because I couldn't get her to walk with me, and she would only walk if Rob was around, which was heartbreaking because literally only a couple of weeks before I took her for like 20 mile, not all in one go, but we covered about 20 miles in one weekend, taking her for a walk everywhere, and it was just me and the dog, and she was as good as gold. She was really happy. We had a lovely time, and it was just heartbreaking at this moment. I couldn't even take her for a walk around the block. Like, she just would not come with me, and I thought, oh no, we've reverted back to her being anxious again. This morning I've managed to take her for a walk around the block. I don't know if it's just because it was raining, but she didn't want to stay too long outside. So she did end up ignoring my instructions and then disappearing off somewhere else. So I ended up having to follow her and come back home. So it was like she wanted to go higher, off high ground, because we live next to a river, and judging by the rain today, I would be shocked if it doesn't flood. It's so bad, but that's Wales for you. She's doing a lot better. It was a bit of a scare, if I'm honest, and we still got to give her the antibiotics and the steroid cream, but thank God for insurance because it would have been really, really expensive, and I'm really glad that we didn't go down the x-ray route because to be honest, I don't think she needs it. She's walking fine. There's been quite a lot of changes in the last few months, and one of them being we did move house back in September. So we were really concerned that it was going to hold Susu back quite a lot. And it turned out to be not a problem whatsoever, and it was probably the best thing that happened to her confidence-wise. I was actually really shocked on how well she dealt with the move. The packing with boxes really freaked her out a bit, but I think after a while, when she realised that we weren't going anywhere without her, she did have a little bit of a panic because we had to kind of lock her in the garden while we were trying to load the lorry. Load the truck? Anyway, yeah, so when we were loading, we did have to lock her in the garden for a bit, and she went crazy. She thought we were leaving without her. She was whining, she was barking and just getting really, really stressed out. But when she realised that she was coming with us, that was it then. We got her in the car, took her to the new house, and she settled in pretty much straight away. And it's really sweet. Every night she'll come up and sleep next to us, and we've got like a little bed next to us on the floor. Yeah, she seems pretty happy. Still succeeding with getting her in the car as well, so.
This way. Come on. Come on. Up. Good girl. Well done.
But there's so many places to explore around where we've moved to, because we've ended up moving like into the middle of nowhere, into the valleys, which is probably about an hour away from where we were living before. But there's so much to explore. We've got waterfalls on our doorstep, so we've been taking her there quite a lot with us, and it's been amazing. We've had some really nice adventures with her. And it's just such a shame. The weather today in particular is absolutely horrendous. It is just peeing it down non-stop. I don't know if it's because it's a valleys or a Welsh thing, but it has not stopped raining since we've moved here, and it's really annoying because I just really want to go places. Anyway, going off on a tangent now. Over Christmas, my family and Rob's family got together, and they came to visit, and they brought their dogs with them too. Susu is brilliant, you know, she loves playing with them. In terms of the aggression when it comes to guarding the sofa, because she was getting a little bit grumpy when dogs were up in her face, or if she would be trying to sleep on the sofa and any dog would come up to her and she would bare her teeth and growl. It hasn't been too bad, if I'm honest. There's been like maybe 1 or 2 incidences where we've just had to kind of make sure the dogs are just not in her face when she's asleep. She's not aggressive with people whatsoever. It's just only when she seems to want to rest and the dog is trying to sit on her head, which has happened a few times, that's when she does get a bit grumpy. But apart from that, she's amazing, and I'm really, really happy that she's finally started to learn how to play. And this is amazing because we bought some fluffy toys, like those tug toys, when we first had her, and she didn't know what to do with them. She kind of just looked at you blankly thinking, what on earth are you doing? Leave me alone. And we just somehow managed to start getting her to play. She doesn't know how to fetch and bring stuff back. She likes the whole tug situation, but she loves winning, and then she'll run off with a toy and then she'll kind of guard the toy. Like, you can take it off her and she's not that bothered, but it's just the way that she stands on the toy saying, it's mine and I've won, but then you just gotta snatch her off and then play again. But yeah, she's brilliant, and she'll come to you when she's ready to play, and she does this Bambi bounce that she does when she really, really wants to play. So it's really lovely to see. Like, I love watching her play, and she'll play with sticks as well. And she started playing with balls. Like, we've got some leftover footballs in the garden that the previous owners left, and you kick a ball and she'll go. It's just the way she pantses on them, it's really funny to watch. Yeah, she'll kind of kick them around the garden a bit, and then she won't bring anything back to you, but I'm happy that she's having fun. I'm happy that she's learning how to play, so we can deal with that. We'll teach her the fetch thing maybe another time. We're in no rush. I will say, if there's one thing we are struggling with other dogs wise, is she's become very cheeky, and it's not a bad thing maybe for other people, and they would probably have a go at us for this, because we have Susu off the lead quite a lot, especially in big open spaces. Like, if we're walking her across the road or in the streets and whatnot, we always have them on the lead. Unfortunately, she's developed a really bad habit of running after dogs that she knows. So she gets really excited if she recognises a dog that she loves. She'll kind of do this thing where she'll look at you, look at the dog, and you call her back and she's gone, no, I want to go and see this other dog. And then she'll bolt. Luckily, it's quite a small village that we live in. We recognise quite a lot of the dog walkers around, and they're fine with it. But with anyone else, it could be a huge problem. It's something that we're trying to get her under control at the moment. We are putting her back on the lead a lot now, especially in the places that we know she's likely to run. If you grab her attention before she even acknowledges the other dog, that's when you can kind of stop her from running off. And we did that with squirrels, so she doesn't really chase after squirrels, or we haven't seen her chase after squirrels for quite a long time now. It's that split second of distraction that you need to get before she bolts. But apart from that, it's not a bad thing. It's not like she's chasing after a dog to attack anyone, but it's really frustrating, especially for dogs that don't really like being approached by a bigger dog, because I don't think Susu realises her size sometimes. She's not aware of how big she is compared to other dogs, because she seems to really like small dogs. I think, anyway. But if it was someone that we didn't know, you'd see this German Shepherd cross just running up to them, it could go one way or the other. We haven't succeeded with the crate training. It was something that I kind of felt it just wasn't going to work. It was just stressing her out even more. Again, I think I mentioned in the last video that the crate is just gathering dust in the corner, and it still is. I don't know if it's the crate is just too small, or I don't think she'll ever get used to it. I think she's just so traumatised from when she first came over to the UK. Being stuck in a crate, I just think has absolutely traumatised her, and I don't really want to put her through that stress. And I know Rob is concerned because if there's an incident and we need to take her to the vet and they're going to have to keep her in overnight and maybe put her in a crate, but I kind of feel like I just want to cross that bridge when it comes to it. I know a lot of people are probably just going to frown upon what I've said, and a lot of people are big on crate training. We tried for a while. We didn't progress anywhere with the crate training, and even the trainer we had before didn't really succeed with it. She just hated it, and I just don't want to stress her out anymore with the crate. I think for the time being, or I just think it's something we might just have to give up on. We don't need it for travelling, so we ended up buying a bigger car anyway, and the boot that we've got is huge, so she's got plenty of space. So we tend to keep her in the back seat with us anyway, but if we do need to put her in the boot, and she's got plenty of space, of course secured in the car. So we do actually have a holiday booked in Centre Parks at the end of the year, and it's going to be Susu's first holiday, which I'm really excited about, and I didn't realise they were dog friendly, so we're going with the whole family. She's not stayed over anyone else's house before. Considering she settled so well into the house when we first moved, that I'm quite confident I think she might be fine when we go away. I would like to go other places as well on holiday, but at the moment we're just going to be focusing on the house because there is so much to do in the house anyway, but separate subject. We've also tried getting her used to the pub. So when we first moved here and we started adventuring around the waterfalls, me and Rob thought it'd be a great idea to do a pub crawl, and we ended up stopping at about 3 pubs, and it was the first time that Susu actually went into the pub. And fair play, she did go in. I think she was a bit anxious at first, but she couldn't sit still. She's a dog that just does not like to sit still or stand still for that matter. That she will start whining. If she gets bored, that's it, she'll start wandering. She was fine when we were outside. Like, we did manage to get her to lay down, but by the 3rd pub I think she'd had enough and she was like, no, I do not want to sit in another pub anymore. So still kind of building that one up. It was fun. It was something to try. It's not really a priority. We don't really need to take her to the pub. It was just nice to see how she would cope with it. And there were other dogs in the pub as well. Thank you so much for the positive comments I've had on my previous videos, and it's been really nice hearing that people have enjoyed seeing her progress and her updates. I've had a few people requesting this video for a year update, and to be honest, it's probably going to be my last update now regarding Susu. I don't really see anything else that I can add to what I've already said. We do a lot of adventure and walking and swimming and wild swimming, and we do include Susu in those videos. You're more than welcome to check out how she is when we're out walking, because I love documenting our walks and when she comes with us. In terms of training, we don't have a trainer anymore, so we moved out of the area, which meant that we could no longer use Hannah, who was our previous trainer. We don't feel that we really need one anymore because her confidence has grown so much. She's doing so well at the moment. We did take her on a foraging course with us back in November. It was amazing of how well behaved she was. That we had comments from quite a few people saying that she was so well behaved. You know, for a Romanian rescue dog, they were really shocked on how well behaved she was. And she loves being part of a pack, so the bigger the group the better. She feels more confident when there's other people around. She doesn't like being too close to people. She's not a huggy dog. She's not the most affectionate of dogs. You might get her head resting on you ever so gently, very briefly. She's not a cuddly dog. She doesn't jump up at people begging for hugs or anything. Like, she just likes to be in the same room. And I think she gets FOMO because when we had the New Year's party, she would disappear off for a bit, but then she would still come downstairs and sit with everyone. Even though she likes the peace and quiet, I think she just likes to be around people. She likes to know what's going on. You know, she likes to be involved. In terms of her anxiety, I'm glad we didn't go down the route for medication. It was something I was considering, like, going to the vet for. So I did try her with like calming spray and calming treats, and to be honest, I didn't feel anything was working. It was just something we were going to have to do ourselves to actually build up a confidence. Even when we moved house, we didn't need to go to the vet for any medication to calm her down. It has been a bumpy road adopting. To be honest, I probably would do it again. I know I said I wouldn't, but even now, we were looking to get another dog. Money wise, it's probably not going to work out right now because we were actually looking for a buddy for Susu. I thought she could do with the company. Thinking about it, she does really well with dogs, but I actually think she prefers being on her own when she's in the house. I don't feel at the moment it's needed for another companion for her, but I still would go down the adoption route. There are plenty of dogs at the moment in the UK that really, really need a home. I just get really, really emotional every time I see these dogs and I'm like, Rob, I really want to foster dogs. I'd love to. We have the space. At the moment we're just so busy with work and with other things. I just don't know if we have the time, but it's definitely something I'm not going to rule out in future. Personally, I think we've done incredible with Susu. Considering we had a lot of negative comments from people saying we weren't suitable for having a dog, I think we've done incredible. We've worked so hard to get her where she is, and if I'm honest, I think we've been incredibly lucky. Like, she's so sweet-natured. She's never shown any aggression towards anyone. You know, she's a very quiet dog. I very rarely hear her bark. The only time I heard her bark recently was when we moved in, and I don't know whether she was barking at a dog or a cat or something in another garden, but it went on for a while, and I went outside and to find out it was our dog. And I was really shocked because she kind of looked at me as if to say like, oh, I don't know where that came from. So, but I've not heard her bark since, which is crazy. Considering the hiccups we had along the way and how incredibly anxious she is, compared to what other people have gone through, I think we've been incredibly lucky with how sweet-natured she is. At the time, I didn't see it. I was really struggling to work with this dog because I didn't feel she fitted into a lifestyle. The effort and the hard work and the money we've put into to getting her where she is now, I love her so much. I honestly couldn't see my life without her. I've learned to adapt my life, you know, to having her around now. I can't make plans unless I know that she can come too. And there's obviously further reasons where we can't take her with us. Like the fact that we can leave her at home for a few hours with no problem whatsoever. Like, we come back, there's no mess, like she hasn't chewed anything. And like, she's happy to see us when we walk through the door. You know, we don't come back to a house of destruction. I'm glad we went down the adoption route. I'm glad we didn't go down a puppy route. I just think there's so many other dogs out there that need homes, that need adopting. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed these updates. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'll be doing another one. I don't feel it's needed, unless there is anything significant that I need to add. She's on the mend now. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my other videos of our adventures. Bye! Let's go and see where the dog is. Hello, Susu. You comfy there? You like the spare room, don't you? Hey, yeah. Oh, look how comfy you are. Life of Riley. Right, distracting me now.
Snoot. Good girl.
Right.
Good girl. What is it? What is it?
Oh, num nums.